We head into the weekend with the sound of music from the west coast of Ireland, where cellist Patrick Dexter has been breathing fresh air into COVID lockdowns, literally posting videos of himself outside in the sun and the wind by his charming cottage and also a stunningly beautiful backdrop. In all weather and sometimes with his dog right beside him, Dexter plays classical, folk and even pop. His videos have been viewed millions of times, and here he is performing Schubert's Ave Maria. And Patrick Dexter is joining us now. Welcome to the program. We're so happy to have you on our program today. Just how did this come about? What made you suddenly go outside in the cold and the wind and the rain and decide to do this?
Well, thank you so much for having me. Yes, so last year happened, really, 2020. Last March, I was mostly working as a teacher and a performer, and schools closed all of a sudden, and of course, all performing ended. So I had a lot of time at home. I was also anticipating the birth of my first child, my baby daughter. And all this time at home, waiting around, I filled it with what I love doing most, what I always do, which is, of course, music. So music I was taking outside as last spring the weather was getting nicer, and I was trying to stay in contact with family and friends, as we all were last year, and we continue to do, like this, like how I'm speaking to you. We're doing it virtually. And yeah, so I was trying to send videos of what we were doing, our life here in the west coast of Ireland. I live in the furthest west corner of Europe, west coast of Ireland, and sharing our life with friends and family, and decided to share it further afield and share it with the world. And yeah, I started to perform, filming myself outside and sharing these videos.
Are you surprised by the reaction? And let's not forget that where you are, County Mayo, I think, is even President Biden's ancestral home.
Yes, so County Mayo, many of you might have heard of it as being the place, as I said, it's the furthest corner of Ireland, and it's the place where President Biden, his ancestors left to go to America, and that's very close to where I am in County Mayo. It's a beautiful part of the country, it's a beautiful part of the world, and I'm very proud to live here.
And we've got a picture of you when you were really young playing the cello. Of course, we're now watching pictures of you in the full snow playing. So you really are a man for all seasons. But I started by asking you, have you been surprised by the reaction?
Yeah, so I was initially, of course, very surprised. I mean, this huge wall of support from the world, millions of people watching these performances of me playing my cello out by my cottage in the west of Ireland. I could not have expected the level of support. At that time last year, as it continues to be now, there's so many important things and serious matters that are in the news, in the world. That's what's going on. So I didn't expect with all that something like music would be able to cut through, but it really has. I've been surprised, but at the same time, I've always known the power of music. I've always known that it can cut through and it can enter that space of public discourse in a way to spread beauty into the world.
Indeed. And you come from a musical family, right? You've got siblings who play string instruments. Were you always the cellist, and your other siblings play the violin, I think, right?
Yes, I was always the cellist, since I was very young. I come from a large family, 7 children in my family, and each one of us was given a musical instrument. I'm number 3 in the family, and my 2 older sisters were playing the violin. So I was next to come to fill out the string quartet that was coming. It became an ensemble of 7 people in the end. But, the idea was to give more depth, more bass to the family ensemble. So after my violinist sisters, I was given the cello, and I have taken it on ever since, all my life.
And your father plays piano, and I think I read that sometimes he sends you some music to play, I guess, alongside or in the background of your own playing. Is that right?
Indeed, yes. So my father, who's living close by to me here in the west coast of Ireland, he has always through my life been my accompanist. We've always played together. He plays piano for me to accompany my cello playing. But of course, at the moment, we are under a very severe lockdown here in Ireland, the most severe we've had. and though we're close, we cannot play together in the same room. So yes, he sends me recordings of his piano accompaniments, and I take them, play with them. And what I love to do most of all is to take them outside into the countryside here, the side where I live, and play with my dad outside in the beautiful fresh air, if remotely.
Well, it's an enormously bucolic picture, I have to say, and your dog is there as well. So look, you have very kindly recorded music for us that we're going to finish the program with, but I want to know from you what it is, why you chose this piece of music, and then you can introduce it and we'll play out.
So I chose this piece of music specially for you today because it's a piece of music that's very close to my heart. It's a song called On Raglan Road, which is an Irish traditional folk song. It was written, the poem that formed the words of the song was written by Patrick Kavanagh. Now, Patrick Kavanagh, maybe perhaps you've heard of recently because US President Joe Biden, he is a big fan of Patrick Kavanagh and is often known to quote his poetry in his speeches. So, but Patrick Kavanagh had written this poem, and then years later he met in a pub in Dublin, as is often the case. 50 years ago now, he met a singer from the great Irish folk group, the Dubliners, and they put together this song, On Raglan Road, and it tells a story of unrequited love, or rather, reaching out for something that perhaps you might never attain, but reaching out for it anyway. I think beyond love, it speaks to so many things in our life, that idea of reaching out to get something, even if you think it might never happen, but making that effort anyway. And it's something that's very personal to me because On Raglan Road is the name of a road in Dublin where I grew up, and where a lot of my family are. I live on the west coast of Ireland, as do my parents, but my family is now spread all over the country, and I have a lot of friends in Dublin City. I know Ireland is a small island where we would often see each other regularly. At the moment, of course, because of lockdown, we can't. So this story of On Raglan Road is very personal.
Well, that's wonderful. We're going to say goodnight. Thank you for watching. And we bid everybody a very happy weekend from London. And we are going to play you out with this wonderful piece of music.